7-iron like John Davis at 3.
You suck, you jackass. I can make things out of clay and made by the bay. I just made.
There is old Mr. Three Wiggle, isn't there?
You take drugs, Danny? Every day. Good.
Still going.
All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome to For the Game podcast, episode 7, brought to you by the guys at GolfDoods with insight into and input from the PFP Tour and all things golf. My name is Jeff Lewis. With us, as always, we have Mark Bonus. What's going on, Mark?
You know, I've played golf now the last 2 weekends. I've been 10 over, 9 over, and 10 over. I'm ready to give up, but I'm also ready to buy new clubs. So I don't know, man.
That sounds like the typical life of a golfer. Well, I mean, hey, two rounds for you in the past couple weeks sounds like 2 rounds. Yeah, 2 rounds more than you've played in the past like 6 months. So
that's right.
You're living the dream right now. Real quick, want to give a shout out to our sponsors at sweetrollsgolf.com and kegsmiths.com. Go check those guys out. We have a discount code for PFP15. Get you 15% off everything on their websites. Tonight on For the Game, we have Spencer Soosman, the winner of the PFP event in Kansas City. We're going to talk about the Charles Schwab Challenge that just ended and also the Memorial Tournament coming up here at Muirfields. Pretty good field going on there. So we're going to discuss that and make our picks of our pick'em pool that we have going. 4 weeks running now. The money is piling up. But without further ado, we're going to bring in the meat of this podcast. Our guest tonight is Spencer Soosman. And coming in right now. What's going on, Spencer? How you doing, bud?
Good. Thank you guys for having me.
No worries, man. Thanks for coming on, dude. We appreciate it. As we discussed, man, you took down the PFP event in Kansas City. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
The last tournament winner we spoke to won, and it was a double playoff hole. Took him 2 birdies and 2 playoff holes to win it. You just kind of ran away with it.
Yeah, I did. It was nice.
Yeah, that seems like a less stressful walk up 18 than what the guys had last week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nice to know birdied 17 and knew I had I didn't really look at the leaderboard until like the back 9 or so. I knew I had like a 4 or 5 shot lead, so I knew I was pretty good.
Yeah.
What does it feel like when you're playing? You obviously knew you were playing well. I mean, I think it was a 2-day tournament, right? And you were 6 under the first day and 4 under the second day or something. What does it feel like? Someone who, again, I just playing terrible right now. When you're playing that well, I mean, is it everything just dropping in? Like, I think back to that scene in Caddyshack where that priest is out there and like everything's going in and he's just super excited and laughing. I mean, is that what you feel like? Do you feel like you just gotta hang on? You could go at any second. Like, tell me what that feels like.
No, not at all. Well, it was a 3-day tournament, so I shot 66, 68, 71. So, okay. I mean, basically, I think it just comes down to preparation. I mean, you play a practice round, you kind of have an estimate where they're gonna put the pins, and then kind of once you get the pin sheet in the morning, you kind of have a game plan of what you're gonna attack or not. And I obviously really liked the course, and I just kind of stuck to that game plan, and that's pretty much all I did.
So, did you play that course for the first time in the practice round, or had you played that?
Yeah, first time I played the first 15 holes and then left because there was some charity tournament about a bunch of celebrities and guys, and it was kind of taking forever. So I just drove the last 3 holes, so I knew I was going to hit it. But
okay,
yeah. I love that, man. That's like that seems like a Brooks Koepka way of going about it. There's a tournament recently. There's a tournament recently where the guy asked him afterwards. He says, "Man, you played really well on the backside. The front side was a little bit of a struggle. What was the difference between the 2 sides?" And he goes, "Well, I had never played the front side before."
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that, especially at a major, but I would definitely at least walk it because I'm a visual person. But yeah, that's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, for our listeners that are craving some swing instruction, I want to ask you a couple real quick questions, some real hacker stuff that we're desperate for over here.
Let's do it.
If you don't mind, how old were you when you started playing golf, by the way?
I've been playing golf since I was 1.5 years old.
1.5 years old. Yes. I love that. And wait, what did that look like? I mean, what does that mean playing from 1.5?
Well, we're all LA guys. And so I grew up I live on North Ranch where my parents do. So we had a membership there. So my mom would take my brother and I have an older brother. And as soon as I could walk, I was out of the stroller. I wanted to do everything he did. And so my mom would just take us and, yeah, I loved it. I loved sports.
So golf
That's
it
awesome.
was from 1.5. Do you have a quick tip that a coach has shown you, or you just kind of picked up along the years that kind of stays with you in crunch time during a tournament when
yeah.
there's some pressure on you, kind of go back to?
Yeah. I mean, I think golf, is a simple game and people just make it more difficult than it is, to be
Yeah.
honest. So,
Nice to
I know
meet you,
all those.
Spencer.
I know.
Nice
I
to
know
meet
all
you.
those. I know all those hackers out there are like, what? And I don't mean it like that. I meant it as like that's what I even work on every day. Is I don't think about it too much. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. I don't try to think about anything. It's almost like blacking out when I hit a shot. That's kind of the things that I've worked on a really long time, and it honestly comes down to like almost like a Buddha thing. If people are into that or whatever, but it's almost like, when you walk to the fridge, a lot of books talk about it, you're hungry at night or whatever, you want some water. You don't think about how much pressure or whatever when you're opening the fridge. You just go, I'm going to open the fridge. So basically, I'm a huge preparation guy. And then once it gets to the tournament, I'm there to compete. I don't really think about anything. If you're already at the tournament preparing,
Right.
it's too late. So,
Right.
All that stuff that you're tinkering or figuring out, equipment or whatever swing, that needs to all be done way prior.
And I mean, so do you have like a real solid, if during the shot you are kind of just trusting everything, blacking out and really committing to it, do you have a super solid and super committed pre-shot routine that you are absolutely doing? And then by the time you're stepping to the ball at address, that's when you're kind of going zoned out, trusting it?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, I mean, before I hit the shot, I kind of know where I want to put the ball because I know where the pin is. Like I said, it's all preparation. And so I'm really just kind of focused on where I want to put the ball. That's all I'm thinking about. And my distance control is pretty good. So I'm just thinking about, if it's 150, that's a soft 8-iron for me. I don't hit it very far. So, like guys, it's 9-iron pitching wedge. But when I'm over the ball, I'm thinking basically a feel thing of this has got to go 150. And that's it. It's hard because, when you're competing and you want to try things, and I think that's the best way to go is try things because that's when you find things out. So all those hackers at home that like to play with their buddies, if they want to try something or whatever, might as well do it. You got nothing to lose. You're going to make a 7 on the hole anyways. Might as well try it. But my advice would be,
Are you out there watching us play, Spencer? What's going on, bro? It's very accurate.
I have a brother and he cracks me up. He, him and a bunch and his friends or whatever, he sends me like all the funny memes or like, I love that one golf commercial where they're like, if you hear the word shank and you're not thinking about veal shank, you're the one we're talking to or whatever. Like those are all hilarious. The weekend warriors, they call it or whatever. So I understand it. I mean, I've been on a bunch of pro-ams and stuff and, the common stuff I hear, it's pretty funny and the common stuff I help out. So.
Wow, we appreciate it. Look, we need guys like you who've been through the rigors, who know what you're doing, to help us out in any way that we can. So let's go for the lower handicaps. Let's say for a 3 to a 10, you're out there, you're playing, you're playing okay. What's your best tip to kind of instantly take some strokes off the round for amateurs that you see out there on the course?
So I would say for the 3 to 10s, keep grinding. The more you practice, obviously, it's going to be better because obviously you can play at that point. You can hit the ball. You're not struggling. You can compete. I would just think about, like I said, if you play at your local country club or with your buddies, if you know the golf course, think about the holes that you find easier and the holes that you find harder. And think about which ones you kind of, it's okay to make a bogey and not. And then basically the best thing to do at that level, because you can play, is every time you play your best and then just evaluate, like if you made a double bogey, how did you make it? Or if you made too many bogeys or whatever, if you made a birdie, why did you make a birdie? How did you feel? Or were you hitting it good today? And were you putting it bad today or whatever? And I mean, obviously, at that level, it's probably a 1 or 2 doubles and maybe a 3-putter or 2. And so that
sounds about right, man. Yeah,
4 shots right there. So I think it's funny because once you can actually get to the point where you're like a 3 to 10, where you're actually playing and you go to the range and you can actually hit the ball a decent amount, it then becomes just refining and constantly getting better. It's not really a huge jump from, I would say, from around scratch to higher. It just becomes more it's just that much better at everything.
And when you know a 3 to a 10's out there, when I'm going out there to practice, where are you putting me out there? You know, how much time are you focusing on each portion of the game? What should I be focused on? We've gotten a lot of pro tips that are telling us to quit pounding balls into the dirt and get on the putting green more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would say, I mean, it's obviously very personal. Everyone's different. Everyone's strengths and weaknesses are different, but I would definitely say get in the bunker. It's the number one thing that I'm asked by amateurs, and that's how I got really good at it, because I was the same way. I was never really taught. I never really had a lesson until I was like 12 or 13 at all, my swing or anything. And in college, I really got a lot better. My coach is like, you need to just drop balls and just figure it out. And
Right.
That's kind of how you get good at that. So I would say definitely the 3 to 10 is chipping and putting. Just constantly drop balls around greens, and I would probably say speed on putting. Because if you're 3 to 10, you're probably a decent putter. But the reason why you're 3 putting is your speed. You know, if you're, you know, when I putt, I'm thinking about making everything. Every putt, no matter how far it is, I'm thinking about make. I'm not thinking about, am I going to 3 putt? Am I going to 2 putt this? I may be thinking momentum, like I said, this is a hard hole, get my par, get out of here. But I'm never walking up to a green thinking like I got to get out of here, or I don't want a 3 putt. You know what I mean? That's just because I put in that preparation, that work that has to do with the practice rounds, but speed for putting. And then I would say get in the bunkers, and drop balls and really get in there with short game, because that's the easiest way to save a round and also get better.
I find that's where I'm struggling. I'm leaving great birdie putts short. And then the next hole, I'm okay, let's get aggressive on this one. 5 feet past. Now I got a knee knocker coming back. That's definitely someplace I see I can shave some strokes. And it's funny because all the pros that come on, that's the one place they say to focus, man.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
For sure.
Well, I don't know if you saw. So at the Charles Schwab this past weekend, and, you know, we've been following the PFP events. We've been following you guys. And we've actually been noticing the PGA Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour this year. There's been so many of these kind of inspirational first-time qualifiers, first-time winners. You know, we had Joel Dunham, and, you know, you got Jason Kokak. We have Michael Visacki qualifying. And I don't know if you saw, but this last weekend, Justin Thomas hit Michael Visacki up. He got an exemption into the tournament. So they come out, they play a practice round. And at the end of the round, Justin Thomas pulls out his checkbook and cuts Michael Visacki an unannounced amount of money, just kind of saying, hey, man, stay in the fight. All this to say, Justin Thomas is an avid listener to the podcast. If he sends you an invite, gets you out there as a practice round, and cuts you a check, we're going to need 10% of that check, okay? Just letting you know, Spence.
I love Justin Thomas. He's one of my favorite players. I look up to him and Xander Schauffele. Their games are very similar, where they're all round so good. The ball strike is so good. I'm recently moving to Florida, so he's listening. I mean, Justin Thomas, hit me up, man. I'd love to play with you, get better. I mean, that's the reason why I went to Texas. I'm a firm believer. If you want to be the best, you got to play against the best.
My boy. Well, that's, you know, all the Justin Thomas, Mike Visacki talk was all to kind of bring it back to winning a tournament like that, getting some cash in your pocket. I mean, how do these tournaments help you stay in the fight, stay in the grind, and continue chasing your dream, chasing those Mondays, getting all the way to Florida and into Justin Thomas's house?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I am really fortunate, and I'm blessed that, you know, I try not to think about that. But I work really hard on that. I basically made a commitment to myself that I do this because I love the game and I love competing. I'm a competitor. You know, like I said, I want to be the best. I'm playing against the best. That's just who I am. And I don't really do it for the money. I do it because I love the challenge. I love how, you know, golf courses, every tournament on the PGA Tour, it's a different course. It's a different setup. It's a different weather condition. I love that. My preparation and stuff like that. You know, the $5,000 was nice. For me, it was a huge thing for me because I haven't won in 5 years. So unless you count a USAM qualifier. So for me, it was like kind of breaking the streak.
Like we said, we see the grind, and it's been really cool to hear that same sentiment from almost all you guys of like, we love playing the PFP events because it gives us something to do, gives us a place to you know, play against real competitors in close proximity to these Monday qualifiers. but I have also heard from almost every single person that's come on, like, the money's great, man, but we love this game and we're trying to better our game, better ourselves, and get out there and make a bigger career.
Yeah.
It sounds like, look, man, your first win in 5 years. Sounds like you're on the right track. Sounds like you got the ship pointed in the right direction. What do you got coming up, man, for the rest of the season? 21, 22. What are your goals? What do you got coming on?
Yeah. So I got conditional status on the Forum Tour, which is the Canadian tour now that they're doing in the United States. Same thing, man, as COVID. So my goal is obviously to make it as least stressful as possible on the Q school, and I know I can compete on the PGA Tour and the Corn Ferry. So if I get into those events, then it helps me skip that and then get into the Corn Ferry for the 2022 season.
I love where your head's at, man, because it sounds like you have, the one thing that I do hear some of the other pros talk and I think what it takes to be a great golfer, especially at the highest levels of competition, is the belief that I do belong there, I can compete there, and I can win there. And it's funny, I mean, you sound like you have, like I said, you sound like you have the ship pointed in the right direction, and it sounds like you have the confidence and the belief in your game, which, as we know, at golf, that's as important as putting in that prep work. I mean, the fact that you can believe in yourself, know that you can compete out there, that's as important as staying on the range for 5.5 hours like Bryson DeChambeau, I think, personally. But
yeah, thank you.
Well, Spencer, man, we can't thank you enough for coming on and talking some golf with us. I guess as a parting tip, do you have any other thing you can tell or yell at the hackers real quick on your way out that you see going on the courses?
I would say, hackers out there, remember it's a game. Have fun. I know it sucks. We want to chuck our clubs in the lake sometimes, but then the next day we want to buy new ones. So mix it up, man. Playing a scramble, alternate shot, Ryder Cup formats, chipping and putting contests. There's more to this game than just teeing up and playing 18 holes.
So true, man. So true.
You can make it more fun. You can play Wolf. You can, obviously put a little bit on the line or whatever. So hackers out there, just try and make it fun. I mean, it's
well, dude, I love that. Make the game more fun. From a pro. I mean, if the pros are saying this, they see us out there getting mad, like you said, throwing clubs. I mean, Mark, I'm starting to think he was talking about 3-putting. He's talking about throwing clubs in lakes. Like, I don't know, Spence, have you seen some of our rounds? What's going on? Like,
I feel like
you're talking about us. Okay.
I just think the things I see, my brother sends me, and like the way he talks.
Well, I love the fact that you have sounds like a semi. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's a rivalry, but I love the fact that you and your brother go back and forth, and it sounds like you're giving him the business end of the golf treatment.
Yeah, he's in that 3 to 10 category. So
there we go. Come on now. So have more fun with it. Okay, work on your preparation. I'm talking to your brother now. Okay, all the tips you're giving us.
Well, he's been grinding on the short game, so he's in the same boat. I'm like, you need to get your butt in the bunker. He's throwing balls around. I'm teaching him about bounce and different shots, and that's another thing for you hackers out there. In chipping, use the lowest club possible. Take a pitching wedge, take a 52 degree. The club already is designed to have spin and do what it's supposed to. You don't need to add or decrease spot.
And you're talking about taking the proper club, not opening it up. You mean just kind of
especially us LA, California guys. We just grew up 60.
Yeah, 100%.
But really, the best thing is I chip a lot with the pitching wedge 52, 56.
Yep.
And that had to do a lot with going to Texas and learning from those guys and stuff like that. And so I encourage that. That would definitely be huge.
Well, Spence, man, we thank you so much for coming on. We thank you for offering all your advice, amazing tips. Like I said, we're all going to be going home now. I'm going to be doing a lot more prep work. I'm going to be finding ways I can enjoy this game a little bit more. Mark, you hear that? That's something we got to work on a little bit.
See.
I dare you to enjoy this game more, Mark.
Yeah.
But man, and we wish you the best of luck with your 2021-2022 season. Hopefully you're at the top of more leaderboards and taking those cash prizes down in your pocket. And then last but not least, I hope that you are inside or outside of Justin Thomas's house ASAP. Okay.
Yeah, and Justin Thomas, man, if you want to play sometime or whatever,
come on, bro.
Florida, I'm gonna be a resident. I'll be seeing you around. Hopefully.
Hit up Spencer. Well, Spence, like we said, good luck, man, and thank you so much for coming on, bro. We'll talk to you soon.
Right,
okay.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Good luck.
Thank you, Spence. Take care, man. Yeah, man. Dude, so crazy. I mean, just kind of in the past, I mean, here we are, episode 7 here. This is probably the 5th pro we've had on this series, and I got to be real, man. Out there on the course, I have been taking some of the stuff with me. The main thing, like they've been talking, stop chipping around the greens, putt more around the greens. That has saved me at least 3 to 4 strokes in the past couple rounds.
Oh, 100%. I putted from, I don't know, realistically 10 yards off the green yesterday and got it within 5 feet. And I was like, you know, if I chipped it to that within 5 feet, I would have been stoked. Realistically, I would have shanked it or flubbed it or done something and not gotten that close. But putting, if you have that if you have a clean enough surface where you can putt it, right? Typically the fairway runs to the fringe, which runs to the green. That's all nice grass, you know?
Yeah.
If you can putt it, it's totally been saving me some strokes.
Dude, absolutely. The mental aspect, you know, plotting yourself around a golf course, just thinking about your shots. What am I trying to do here? Where am I trying to miss the ball? Where am I trying to, if I'm trying to hit a draw here and I overcook this thing, am I in deep trouble over there? Those thoughts are thoughts I never put together on a golf course. I never really kind of talked myself through holes, but I've been finding putting that extra 10% of thought of like, where's my starting line? Where am I trying to land this ball? Am I aiming for the flag? Am I aiming for the center of the green? Those types of thoughts that these pros have been giving us have been, they've been helping, man. So again, thank you for coming on, all the pros who've been on. But tonight, thank you, Spencer Soosman, for all those tips.
I am a little upset about one thing. It's the fact that he shot a 66, I believe he said, on his first round. I mean, he had a practice round that he didn't fully complete. But then he goes out and shoots a 66 the first time he plays a round on a course. So my thing is anytime I'm playing a course for the first time, I always make the excuse that I don't have the course knowledge my first time playing. So if I shoot, 10, 11, 12 over, that's the reason why. It's not my golf game. But he's just proven that that's not the case.
And like, what is he saying after that round? It's 10 under. I mean, what's his first time playing it? Ugh.
Right. Yeah.
Could have been a 12. I don't know. Yeah. That wasn't 10 under, 600, but still. Well, Mark, did you watch any of the Charles Schwab Challenge this last weekend? I know you had some things going on. Did you catch any of it?
Yeah, man, I watched some of it. I definitely watched on Sunday after I got home from the course and, was rooting for Jordan and Kokrak just, he wasn't going away. And, it was pretty bad. I mean, it was great golf, but for those two, it was pretty poor golf.
Yeah.
For the most part, neither one of them really had it. And Kokrak stuck around and ended up winning, which is, great for him, but a bummer for Jordan. I mean,
bummer for golf, honestly.
So that's great, but it's a bummer.
It's a bummer for Spieth, and it's a bummer for golf. I mean, look, I love, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but Jordan's up there with the buzz capability of a Tiger, of a Phil. I mean, when he wins a tournament, it's just a huge deal for golf. So yeah, I was a little disappointed to see that, but it got me thinking about Jordan Spieth. Let me get your take on this. When he started flubbing up the first couple holes, I thought to myself, he's not the type of guy to like really stick in there and just fight like a Tiger. I felt when it started to let go, I could see his whole energy deflate. He was talking to himself a lot more, talking himself out of a lot of shots. And I just saw it kind of spin. I don't know. Do you look at him as like a big time closer, or do you kind of see that too, where he's just kind of, he needs to coast and everybody else kind of has to not play really well for him to win right now?
Yeah. I never thought about it like that before, but I see what you're saying. For him, it does seem like if he gets out of his groove, it's hard for him to get back into it. And I think he realizes that too. I think he might've even made a comment about that after the round. But you're right. I mean, that's what the greats have, right? Is the ability to get themselves out of that, get back on track and start making some great shots and putting down some good scores. But again, I mean, those are once in a generation type of players, right? Like we were talking, it's not like other sports where you have, greats come around a little bit more often. Golf is completely different.
It's true. And I mean, we're all hoping for a new Tiger, but it could be another decade or two before somebody comes up and dominates golf, because it is also just a bigger sport. I wanted to talk real quick about Kokrak. I don't know if you saw this as well. So he ends up winning, which is his second win of this season. And this just kind of, again, goes to show you what a crazy game golf is. you have some of the favorites that enter these tournaments, and you think there's no way they can lose, and then half of them miss the cut. You only got one of the best players in the world up there competing with this guy, and this guy went from, I think it was 270 something starts without a win. I mean, it's years of golf, no win. This season, 2-win season, top 5 in the FedEx Cup standings. I mean,
Yeah,
just
man.
shows you how one season can snap these golfers into a winning situation.
And they were talking about that on Sunday, which was, so one thing that was funny, they were showing Jordan the entire time. The announcers, you know, the channel, they know what Jordan means to the game versus somebody like Kokrak, who is relatively unknown, right? So they were showing Jordan, talking about Jordan. But once they realized literally on 18 that Jordan wasn't going to win this and that Kokrak was going to win this, they mentioned something that I thought was interesting, where back in the day, guys didn't used to come into their game and start dominating really until they were in their early to mid 30s, right? Like Kokrak, 36. Looks like he's starting to play a lot better now. And we've just been so there've been so many recently, young guys in their early 20s coming out and just, you know, dominating from the beginning, that you just assume that that's where you have to start dominating, because that's what Tiger did. He dominated the second he got out there, pretty much until he was done, right? So then
you had Rory. After that, you had Rory come right after him and start putting up some crazy numbers. I mean, super young, winning
Jordan
a couple
started
majors.
as young, Justin started
came out. I mean, you had you're right. You had a slew of those guys at like 20 to 23 that were just destroying the game, looking like they were going to be the next Tiger. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, like Tiger, he wore black and red on Sundays, or he wears black and red on Sundays, and that was like a big deal. But you look at all these young guys, they all have their Sunday wear, right? That what they wear every Sunday is always the same stuff. That like, which is obviously a lot louder, a lot more skinny pants these days than before.
Thank you, Ricky Fowler, for some of that.
I think it's awesome though that Kokrak's coming out. It was funny. As we were watching this, I was like, man, he was born in May of 85. He's only like 5-6 months older than I am. Like no offense to him, but there's a point to this, but I was like, he looks so much older than I feel like I look, you know?
Yeah.
And my wife's like, yeah, well, he has 3 kids and has been a professional for a long time. Like that's what that level of stress does to you. And I was like,
it's true, dude. Yeah. That's like, I mean, when you look at pictures of people back in like the 40s and the 50s, it's like, here's a picture of a 21-year-old. The dude looks like he's like 85. It's
right, just struggling.
By like 30, they look like they were 60 with just so much stress and where am I getting my next meal on them, I guess. But no, it's a good thought, man. It's interesting. I mean, it is that we have been just so accustomed to these young cats that it's almost shocking when they don't win. You know, when you do have Dustin and Justin and Jordan and Rory that are all in the field, you just assume one of those guys. How can you not take it down? But like you said, it seems more often than not these days they're not taking it down.
Well, you know what? Good. I'm rooting for the mid-30s guys now.
Yeah, totally.
Golf is like the only professional sport that I can watch and be like, well, they're older than me. If that's why they're there, you know. Yeah, every other sport is just full of 21-year-olds dominating. So
my wife the other day, I've been playing pretty well recently, and my wife says to me, well, I mean, golf's one of those sports you can play later in your life. Why don't you try to go pro? It's legitimately the words that came out of her mouth, and I'm like, "Oh, sweetie,
you know what? That's nice.
She believes in you." Yeah, it was very nice. Well, speaking of these big fields, these young names, we have another tournament coming up this weekend. It's the Memorial at Muirfield. Love that course. I mean, huge names. We got Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, Bryson DeChambeau, Ricky Fowler's going to be there. John Rahm, Max Homa, Matt Kuchar, tons of star power at this tournament. It seems like it's going to be fun to watch. Muirfield just got a big time makeover, so they got new greens, new bunkers. They got some trees and some new interesting places. The tee boxes have been moved back a little bit, so it should be interesting, man. I don't know. You got time? You watching this weekend? What's going on for you?
You know, I'll have it on. Typically, I'll have the tournament on every weekend, right, just to see what's going on.
Well, we're on. This is 4 weeks in a row, man. I mean, we have picks to be made. We have a pick 'em pool going on, and I won about 5 weeks ago, and now we've gone cold for 4 weeks. So let's look at this field. Let's make some picks, man. Let's make some picks. I'm excited about it. What are you looking at? Who are you looking at? Who are you liking this weekend?
You know what? I'm just rooting for him. Going back to the old guy, I'm rooting for Matt Kutcher.
Let's go, baby.
He's a long shot for sure, but I don't think that you or Brandon is going to pick the winner. So I feel like this is going to be another push. So
well, if history is an indication, you're correct. But Brandon is also not with us again tonight. He is still dealing with kidney stones. Listen to the last episode if you've not caught up. He's had a horrible last couple of weeks, and our thoughts are with him. But he did send in his pick from bed rest. He is going with Jordan Spieth. It's no shot. He's back on his old train. He actually told me that he didn't pick Jordan because if anyone was listening to the podcast, they would have known that all he does is pick Jordan Spieth. So he said he threw it on a whim, and his pick missed the cut last week. So he's back on to Jordan Spieth. I am in a stray from Justin Thomas, who I ran with last weekend, and I'm back on to my boy, Rory McIlroy.
All right.
He's back in the field. He's about 3 weeks off of his win, or maybe a month off, but I think he's going to play well. I'm ready.
Is Kokrak playing?
I don't think so. I didn't see him up there, but honestly, I may have just scrolled right by Kokrak and not even thought. I don't even know.
Never heard of him before.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, good stuff, man. All right, and then one last bet I want to make, because if you've been following the podcast, we also had an epic debate on who is the least likable player on the PGA Tour. Is it Patrick Reed? Is it Bubba Watson? We did a big debate. We've read articles. Apparently, the PGA Tour is split. All the players they don't like either of them. Our podcast was also split, and now we've been taking bets on who is going to play worse at the tournament. They're both in the field. Who's playing worse this weekend? We're throwing $10 on these bets. These are small bets we're just making for fun. Who is it, buddy? Who do you got? Do you want Bubba or do you want Patrick Reed? Who is playing worse, do you think?
I honestly like Bubba, so I don't get this whole deal. So I don't like Patrick Reed, so I hope he plays worse.
Okay, so you're going, all right, so Patrick Reed is going to play worse. I will default happily to Bubba because I feel like P. Reed's been hitting it better. But I'm with you. I mean, I like Bubba much better. And I think Bubba's working on his PR, honestly. He had a bad couple years, man, yelling at fans, just kind of being an oddball on the PGA Tour. A lot of the players just weren't vibing with him. But as of late, he's been doing some TikTok things that are pretty damn funny. He's been on the Instagrams and been cracking me up. So I don't know. I think Golf Digest needs to redo their poll because I feel like it's a little outdated. I'm with you.
It's outdated. By the way, John Rahm's going to win the Memorial. I'm not picking him, but I think he's going to win it.
You're calling it and not picking it. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's here on camera. If you're right, it will be here, and we'll go back to it and get it. Well, great. So we have our picks in. So we need Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, or Matt Kutcher to win the Memorial. And then we need you need Patrick Reed to play really badly, and I need Bubba Watson to play really badly. And any of those happen, I think one of us is going to have a good week, man. I'm stoked.
Yep.
It's going to be good. Well, great. Well, dude, I want to thank everybody who tuned in and is listening to us again on episode 7 of this series. I want to thank our guest tonight, Spencer Soosman, for coming on and spitting all the knowledge. He was very generous with his time. I want to thank him for that. And I also want to thank our sponsors, as always, over at sweetrollsgolf.com and kegsmiths.com. Again, we have a discount code, PFP15. We'll get you 15% off anything of their sites. From the guys at GolfDoods, my name is Jeff Lewis. We have Mark Bonus. Y'all have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.